Fuck yeah. All right. I'm hanging out with my new best friend, April Brucker, everyone. This is amazing. I'm excited because I've been doing these, I'm going to say interviews for all of our self esteems right now, but basically, I've just been hanging out with my friends on Zoom that I moved very far away with. And they're all very funny comedians, but a very funny comedian reached out to me and was like, I want to be interviewed. And I was like, fuck yeah. I don't know. Sometimes energy just is what it is. Because some people reached out and I was like, I don't want to talk about the open mic you go to every Thursday, but I
Oh,
just felt I saw the star and I was like, this person's a star. No, we're best friends now. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. Better now that I'm here with you, my new best friend as well. And I get that, because sometimes everybody, and especially if a scene's a certain way, that open mic that they go to every week is their life. And it's like, dude, I get that you and your friends go to your open mic every week, but your jokes still aren't funny. I get that so and so is hooking up with so and so at the open mic every week. But even though they're doing it, their jokes still aren't, say it with me,
Oh
funny.
my God. We are best friends now. That was what I was worried about because I was like, I don't want to. I'm so loose with just hanging out with my friends and just talking. And it's been nice just honestly catching up and recording it like a true narcissist that we tend to be. But I was
Yeah,
worried about
exactly.
meeting you and then filming that immediately because you're,
So
you
if
know,
you think I was going to say, listen, I go to this open mic every week, and there's this guy that I totally like there, but he tells these jokes that I don't like that are offensive to me, and I like them until I had to cancel him. Were you worried about that?
No, I wasn't worried about that. I was worried. First of all, I would never condone comedians going to open mics and banging other comedians. I'm married to a comedian and I would still never recommend anyone
that's
fucking
like
a
that's like
comedian.
every time I hear about comedians being married, and God bless you, it's still working. It means that you found one that it was like almost sane. But when I hear about comedians dating comedians, I'm like, okay, what issues are going to wreck this, and how is this going to play out at the open mic? Are you going to do sets about each other like you did when you're dating, and now you do sets about each other when you're breaking up?
Okay, I'm going to start this with two things. One, my wife is way too hot for me. And two,
Oh, okay. Well,
she's much, much
this is why
funnier
you're
than
still married.
me.
You're a smart man. You know what to say.
I'm an honest man. It is the God's honest truth. People don't even assume we're together. We could be holding hands and people will hold the door for her and let it slam in my face. She likes to reveal things to me for the first time while she's on stage. Like, I did this. And then I'm like, composure, because it's a joke probably. And I'm more of like, I love you. I don't know. We don't really write jokes about each other. We have a lot of shared experiences because we do everything together, but we still have our own styles, flavors, opinions for sure, and outlooks on things. I'm much, much more cynical than her. Her comedy is very truth based. I'm high and like, what's the weirdest thing I could say to this
So you're like a
VFW?
Mitch Hedberg. You're
Yeah,
like a
she does
Mitch
better
Hedberg.
shows than me too. We're in different realms. I'm like,
Listen. If she's watching, this dude's a keeper. But and I envy her. I envy you because let's just put it this way, man. I'm not looking for Mr. Right. I'm just desperately seeking Mr. Okay. That's where I'm at right now.
well, step
Because
one is don't go with a comedian. I would recommend anyone else. Probably not anyone
you'd
willing to
recommend
go to.
anybody but a comedian. Well, let me tell you about my fiance, man. Okay, because I was gonna get married. All right, you want to
Yeah,
get married?
yeah.
I
Let's just
was
dive
on
in.
my way to the altar. All right, and I met
Wow.
this guy. Let me check this. On the first date, he says, "I want to be your boyfriend." Now, that's not a red flag at all, right?
Look, in hindsight, probably is.
But I thought he was being romantic, and then
It
on the
sounded
second
romantic. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to come across as like,
and
oh,
then
I
on the
thought it was kind
second
of
date,
sweet,
he was
actually.
talking about us having kids, which I also thought was romantic, but apparently is also a red flag. And on the third date, he proposed, which apparently was a big red flag, but I thought it was romantic. So
Whatever.
anyway, I said yes. He got down on one knee and he told me that he would buy me a ring at a later date. Now, it's like
That is a red flag. Here's your red flag right here.
so so anyway, we get engaged, and immediately all I want to do is become a professional ventriloquist. And Immediately it's April. My friends don't like you. My friends don't like the puppets. My friends think the puppets are stupid. Blah, blah. I said, I'm going to be a professional ventriloquist. He goes, well, no wife of mine's going to be a professional ventriloquist. And so he made me choose between him and the puppets. Now, I thought that I was scared of being alone forever, right? You know, that's why we date people that treat us like crap. So that later become like a good 5-minute set, you know, like he did. And so anyway, I thought I was going to be with him forever. But I missed my puppets. I missed comedy. I missed everything. And after several lonely months, I took my puppets out and I said, I need to be a professional ventriloquist. Mm-hmm. And so he was cheating on me too, because this guy was just a gift that kept on giving.
Jeez.
And he told me, I can do so much better than you. And I was also supporting him because he was the gift that kept on giving. I mean, I date like a comedian, don't I? I say, who's going to give me the most material? Step right up. Anyway, I date like a comedian. So he's like, well, I can do so much better than you. And you know what I said to him? I said, then do it.
I like how he's financially dependent, but also like, don't you dare pursue something that could be more lucrative other than currently what you're doing. What the fuck?
And let me tell you what a loser he was. Yeah. He had a job. He finally got a job at Burger King. Okay. And he's like, well, I have BK experience. I can rock this out, April. And I said, okay, do it. You know, any job is honorable. Well, they did things like demand he show up on time at Burger King.
Interesting.
And he couldn't do that. Yeah. And so then halfway through the week, he just stopped showing up and he's like, they didn't pay me. They're like, you didn't show up. We don't owe you money. And it's like, dude, you only worked there for like one day. You did like, I don't know. Like he was just a whole lot of mess. So I told him to do it. Well, anyway, long story short, I dump him. And I decide that I'm going to become a professional ventriloquist. Okay.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So he, you know, he doesn't take it well. I mean, because like after a month, he hits me up to tell me that it's the 1 month anniversary of our breakup, man.
Okay, remember that red flag? Here's the callback to that. Holy shit. So let me ask you this though, before we go a little bit deeper into this. So how long have you been doing comedy and ventriloquism like relatively the same amount of time? And like how long had you been doing it going into this relationship?
Well, I've been doing ventriloquism since I had been 13.
Okay.
And that's a crazy story in itself. I grew up without cable because like most comics, I grew up the cool kid. And everybody wanted me to come to the party. Not. Yeah. And my parents were like, if you live in this house, you're going to be a thinker. And so much for that. So anyway, my brother was playing football. And I was only allowed to watch TV on the weekends, too, with my 3 channels. And my brother was playing football. My dad wanted the local channel. And you know how you get one? You got to get like 40. So he calls the cable company. I want the local sports channel. Well, Mr. Brucker, if you're going to get one channel, you got to get 40. But I only want one. So after an hour of screaming to 5 people in the cable company, 3 which like barely knew English because, you know, that's like calling the cable company. We got cable. And so anyway,
let's go.
We were watching the commercial. We were skipping around because we were watching the scores. It's Friday night and more channels mean more commercials. So my dad is like, well, you know, I hate commercials. And he switched to A&E, and there was an Edgar Bergen TV special. Everybody tried to talk like a ventriloquist, and
I don't think your backdrop.
I was the only one that could do it. And that Christmas, my mom got me a Groucho Marx figure. And then I had been doing comedy since I'd been 20. And so I'm not going to tell you my age because a woman never reveals that.
Well, you're only, what, 21?
Oh, God bless you. Do you need a kidney?
I think I ruined both of mine already, but that's
Listen,
a different conversation.
I don't drink, though. I'll give you both of mine. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, you don't drink. I make bad decisions, clearly, so I might not need mine much longer.
There we go. Right? That's funny.
Yeah, and so May.
So is this the story. Did you make this? I don't understand how any of this starts to develop, but I love that you already like dived into this. So was this your first puppet?
No, Groucho Marx was my first.
So you had Groucho Marx.
I'm the coolest. Now, Brian, I know that you're married, but that's never stopped me before. So, are you into threesomes with a schizophrenic, Brian?
I mean, yes.
I know you're speechless, Brian. Let's just put it this way. I can suck you off and give you a hand job at the same time. Stop hitting on Brian. His wife might be watching this. Who knows? She might be into that because once you go crook it, you never go muck it again.
Hell yeah. I love this. So is that the dynamic you and May set up, like raunchy and then
Yeah, it is the dynamic. Now, May, tell
raunchy,
him.
less raunchy?
So are you more raunchy or less raunchy? I'm as raunchy as you need me to be, baby. What are
Nice.
you doing later? So, May, but I was telling him about my ex, the one that everyone liked. They said the same thing about Jeffrey Dahmer, but he had a hot body in his refrigerator. She's jealous that I have a better love life. Can I tell you a secret, April? Sure. Your older brother doesn't count. So anyway, May, I was telling him, again about the ex that made me choose between the puppets and him. Oh, that lizard. Let me tell you, Brian, I stayed under the bed for 4 months collecting dust. 4 months, okay? It was so unpleasant, all right? Now, if I'm going to get bugs, it's going to be from a good time with somebody as good looking as you, all right? I'm not going to get it under a bed, God. Okay. I realize that you're traumatized. Now, tell him what you told my ex when I chose you over him. I said, listen, Lizard, why don't you go back to your mother's basement where you belong? And why did you tell him to go back to his mother's basement? Because that's where he was living before he started squatting with you. Actually, this is true. And go play Dungeons and Dragons. That was true too. Why do you have to keep telling the truth? Because that's my job. So anyway, this is how May and I got on television.
Nice.
We were determined to be professional ventriloquists. And April's ex was calling the clubs where she worked, pretending that he wrote her act. He actually did. That is true. And I said, he didn't write the act. That would involve getting off his ass and doing something with himself. God. Yeah. And then he told us that he wanted to retire in my home state. I said, excuse me, asshole. That would involve having a job. Yeah, she said that too. Well, anyway, so we were really determined to be professional ventriloquists because he was sending people to our shows to heckle us. I mean, he was just really, really treating us badly. But people were booking us in spite, actually. And one gig we got was we were working as street performers because we needed the money. Yeah, we needed the money. Actually, I didn't need the money. I had a sugar daddy. You needed the money. And so this guy comes up to us with a camera. And he is really good looking. I mean, good looking. He wanted me. No, he wanted me. He wanted me. No, he wanted me. He wanted me. No, he wanted me, May. And so anyway, whatever. He telling
like a free show.
Yeah, he takes our picture. And so I'm hoping that, and so anyway, I'm telling him about my ex. And he says, well, my girlfriend doesn't always understand. And I'm crushed. I wasn't. I was ready to go on it. I was ready to work harder than ever. And so anyway, he takes our photo. So year passes and we get a call from a casting agent. And she's with a show called My Strange Addiction. And her best friend's boyfriend took our photo and she wants to know, is it true? Did April over here dump her fiance for puppets? I say the relationship had other problems. He was crazy. She wasn't the only crazy one. And so they kind of left that out, but we got on TLC. And then what else happened, May? The Daily Mail did a story on us, and the story went viral from England to Iceland to Italy, then from Russia to China to India, then from Singapore to Australia to Indonesia, then from Ghana to Nigeria to Kenya, then from Russia, then from not Russia, but Brazil to Colombia to Guatemala. That's right, we're celebrities in Guatemala. The headline read as follows. Ventriloquist who splashes out 10 grand a year on her puppets that even have their own bedroom dumps her fiance after he says it's them or me. So I thought I found my Mr. Right. Boy, was I wrong. So she said she's not looking for Mr. Right. She's just desperately seeking Mr. Okay. So there we go. Yeah. So, and then I also developed a stand-up routine around it. And so, May, what did you say? I said, see, he's going to be good for 5 minutes, but I was wrong. He's good for 5 minutes, a headline that keeps getting you booked. Holla!
Nice.
If only every bad relationship could end that way, right?
Right? Just any conversation should end with hell yeah. Like, I agree.
And he was so mean too. But but here's the thing though. It's like, did you ever have a bad relationship that got you a 5-minute set?
No. 5 minutes? No. No. You're luckier than
What are you
most.
doing? You call yourself a comedian? God, not every comedian is dysfunctional. You should speak for yourself. No, you should speak for yourself. You should speak for yourself. You should speak for yourself. This interview just got weird, and that's all your fault. Holla.
Yeah. Well, my comedy's mostly about eating gas station snacks, so it's just all one big low point, honestly. It's not really neither here nor there, but yeah.
What's your favorite gas station snack?
Oh God, how much time do you have? So it really depends on the fucking brand, like what actual establishment it is, what the hour is, what the go-to is. It also depends on if I bombed or if I had a good set. I mean, the snack doesn't really change, just my attitude towards it kind of does. It's like I'm keto, so I have to do like those Quest cookies. So I'm like, is this a reward cookie or is this a depression cookie? I mean, it's all a depression cookie, but you know what I mean. Like, oh, these dipshits in Creston, Iowa didn't get my craft. You know.
Well, speaking of Iowa,
May probably can't understand.
Yeah, well, we did a show in Nebraska, May, and tell them what happened. It was a show where we almost had a paid threesome. Yeah, actually, it was.
Wait, okay, hold on. Where was it in Nebraska? Can I ask that?
Omaha.
No, not the venue, like the city, maybe.
Omaha. It was Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, I live in Lincoln, but I go there pretty frequently. Interesting. We're narrowing it down a little bit. Okay.
And so anyway, wherever we were in Omaha, it was not far from a farm, and so this guy comes to the show, and he looks like Sling Blade. And so anyway, and he came specifically to see me and May, because that's the kind of people that come to see us. And that fans. Is true. Yes, we have fans. And some of our fans are probably on a wanted list somewhere, but it is what it is. Okay, you got to get the fans where you can.
Big
and
facts.
So anyway, he looked like Sling Blade. So he comes up to May and I after the show. And he's got the overalls, he's chewing tobacco, and again, it's like he looks like Sling Blade. And so he says, hey, I want to have a threesome with you and your puppet. And I say, excuse me, the term is textile American. And anyway, so at first we think he's kidding. But then what happens? He flashes $500. And now we were only features. And if you've ever featured on the road, you know that
that's like the whole weekend.
Yeah, exactly. You know that it doesn't pay very well. You know that sometimes you lose money getting there. They were nice enough to throw in a hotel. So he says, seriously. Yeah, so he says $500 and my farmhouse is up the road.
Oh, fuck. So, I hate this.
Anyway, May and I start to confer, and I'm like, May, we've broke even on this gig and we can lose the money. We could use the money. And I said, hey girl, I can see myself in a crop circle with my stuffing cut out. And I have some questions. I said, sir, how are you going to do this threesome? He said, well, I'm going to start with May and she's going to go all over my body. And then when I'm done with her, I'm going to go to April. And I said, oh my God, he's going to cut the stuffing out of me and I'm going to be laying in a crop circle. But we really needed the money. So we talked about it. And so May, being the business manager, says, excuse me, Sling Blade, is that $500 for me or me and April? Now he's really taken aback by the question. He says, for the both of you. And so what did you say, May? I said, hell no, I'm specialty talent. Listen, you want me to do oral, you want me to do anal, and on a porn set, that's $1,000. So it's $1,000 for me, $500 for April as my handler. Do you have $1,500? And you know what he said? No, and he walked away as if.
That's wild.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of wild stories. And then
like a literally put your money where your mouth is situation.
Exactly. And he wanted me to put his mouth on his ding-a-ling and he didn't want to pay for it. So put your money where your mouth is. Holla. And so then we were on Judge Jerry because we were.
That's his new show, right?
Yeah, that's his new show.
Because I know they used to film his old show back in Connecticut. That was like a whole thing.
And they filmed the new one in Connecticut as well.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go. Sorry, I'm having a little home state pride right now.
We were on Judge Jerry. because we were special guest stars at a show in Vegas. Well, actually, I was a special guest star. You were there. No, we were the special guest stars. No, I was. 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 No, I was.
Who's the check right now to? And can I cash it?
Okay. So we were the special guest stars, and we got a contract. Now, May is the business manager. But I was with my sugar daddy. So I let April negotiate the contract. Big mistake. So the contract said $500 per show per person. So we come in, we do the show, they pay us, but they forgot to pay me. So we sued on Judge Jerry. Equal pay for pockets. Holla. Yeah, so we sued. And anyway, May, you argued valiantly. And Judge Jerry said that I was not a legal person under the law. Yeah, she was very hurt after that. But now afterwards, what happened was we started to get a lot of legal advice.
Unsolicited legal advice?
Yes, unsolicited legal advice. And we get a call, and it's a collect call from a correctional facility in Illinois. We don't want to say which one. And it's and so at first I'm thinking that it's possibly a friend or a family member or something, because I've had friends and family members that have had scrapes with the law. I mean, who hasn't? I'm a comedian, you're a comedian, right? You've been called from jail, right?
Oh, I used to have a whole podcast about jail and prison and stuff.
So you've had calls from jail and prison. So at first I'm thinking maybe this is somebody. So I pick up and I'm like, hello, and he's like, listen, you don't know me, but I'm on the same cell block as this kid. And this was a kid that I did comedy with once upon a time that got into drugs. Long story. He said, but I saw you and I like the ventriloquism. And he said that if I call or I write, you'll write back. And it's true. You know, the less you have done for you, the more April wants you. Man, you don't. You know, what can I say? April, all your ex-boyfriends are allergic to the law. They keep breaking out into handcuffs. So anyway, he says, we saw you on Judge Jerry. I have some legal advice from you, blah, blah. And so we start to talk. And I say, so how long are you in for? And May, what did he say? He said that he was in for natural life, but he was innocent.
But he was innocent?
Yeah. And then somehow Judge Jerry made it over to Croatia. And we get this guy that writes us this fan letter in Croatian. And so I said to April, I said, you have a calendar out. Give him to buy a calendar. So I'm trying to get him to buy a calendar. And he says, I can't receive mail where I'm at.
What?
And so,
well, side note, my old podcast used to be sponsored by a company in Croatia, Poop Map. So shout out to Poop Map. We're a big fan of Croatia here on this show. So Croatia's anyway, a big friend of the show. Sorry.
And I love Croatia too, because apparently their friskers have tablets and they can correspond with me and follow me.
It's my one listener, anyway, probably.
Yeah. And so anyway, he's like, I can't get mail where I'm at. And so we translate. In May, what does he say? In 50 years, I will be able to kiss you. And I only, and I have 5 years under my belt already. And so he was in prison too.
That's wild.
So those are our fans.
Still better than comedians, though. You're making a lot of sense. You're only proving my points. I mean, he's got a 15-year plan. That's like that's 3 times the standard, honestly. That guy's got his shit all the way together.
Yeah, he's got a 15-year plan, May. I mean, May, you're always downing the guys that I date because they're in prison. Hey, girl, I don't down them because they're in prison. I down them because they get caught. Ow!
Yeah, think about all the Croatia 15 years. Think about all the pickaxing he's going to be able to do. You can have your own little mine. You can do coal stuff. You'll have a canary. That's cool. Right? These are all things people want. A pet bird in a coal mine. Yeah.
But May, we will say this, that the guy in prison in Illinois, he got like half of his cell block because they're not allowed to have tablets either. But he got half of them to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Wow.
See? April, what can I say? Just because he's behind bars doesn't mean that his bar isn't hard.
It's also like, let's just look at European prisons real quick. They have Wi-Fi. They're probably still using Ask Jeeves, and it's fine.
Yeah, that's how he probably found us, was Ask Jeeves. Ask Jeeves, where can I have a threesome with a really crazy girl? Paula!
It is
Where can I
cool
find a threesome
to
where I don't have to pay for one girl? Paula!
right. Is that your press kit? It's BYO threesome basically.
Well, that nuclear press kit, and I got one more. Ask Jeeves, where can I make a bad mistake with somebody who likes guys with no jobs? May! Ask Jeeves. This is what I have to live with all the time. Well, April, you wouldn't have a career if it weren't for me. That is not true, May. I am very talented on my own. Am not R2, am not R2, R2, am not. Gotcha.
So I do know since we've been social media friends, you two, do you have your own show or do you do sketches together or is it like a combo platter? I know you just do a lot of things. I think we kind of all do in this day and age. We can't just be like, I have one thing and that's all I do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We do our own show. She's a regular part of April in Vegas. That's a chat show that I do poolside at the English Hotel.
Is that a residency that you do?
It's a chat show we do poolside at the English Hotel. It's
okay, hell yeah.
Yes. And I'm a correspondent on the street because I'm really a serious journalist, as you can see. I ask all the hard questions. And so she's part of that. And we've done resident shows in Vegas where she actually, tell them how many shows you did in Vegas. I did 140 shows in a row in Las Vegas. Yeah. Wow. And she's done shows on the road. I've been on television. I've been in movies. I'm really famous, in case you haven't picked that up. And actually, one time, and this is another crazy story, she almost got beat up on a hidden camera show.
Someone beat you up on a hidden camera show? I'm sorry to laugh at that. I was caught off guard.
It is funny. So we were on, have you ever seen What Would You Do?
Yeah.
May and I were on What Would You Do? And
really? I love that show.
We were supposed to be the mean ventriloquists. And so
I know they did one with a comedy show one time too. I think it was Rich Voss just started saying like mad racist shit to people. Oh, yeah. And then someone had to be like, I'm heckling. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is wrong. Never heckle. No, I'm just kidding. It was fucked up. It was that show's super interesting. So it's such a social experiment, truly. And it's the fact that they do it in like fucking Queens. Oh yeah. Like, we're here in Jackson Heights seeing if anyone's polite.
And so she was, and so what did you say to the lady who was an actor? And this lady was an actor. These were all actors.
Really?
I said, hey, homeless lady, why don't you get some dignity and self-respect? And so this doorman, okay, and the homeless lady, she's an actor. This guy, he was a doorman in one of the buildings. He's smoking, and he's already looking like he's having a bad day. And he goes, stop making fun of the homeless woman. And so May goes, what? These are just jokes. And then he starts saying, blah, blah. And I say, it's not me, it's her. And he goes, oh, yeah, well, when the cops come, they're going to arrest both of yous. And he was like getting in our face. He was mad. And I was like really scared of him. So anyway, a minute later, John Quinones and the crew come out. They're like, hi, we're John Quinones and we're the crew of What Would You Do? And he's like, what? You're making fun of homeless people? Like, he was still mad. They're like, no, the homeless lady's an actor.
Right.
And she'd actually taken a car service down from Connecticut because she was in a higher income bracket than all of us.
That's the energy we bring to this table, though. That's just Connecticut.
I know. Yeah, and she just brought it down. Yeah, and so she was actually, and her husband was some sort of big exec and whatever. So anyway, long story short, he like agreed to be interviewed on camera, and it was really scary. I almost got beaten up, and everybody's like, "That ventriloquist is so mean." And we actually talk about it in our book, Don't Read My Lips, where we give all the secrets of how to be a successful ventriloquist. Actually, they're my secrets. April just stole them. Well, I wrote the book. Look on the front cover. I
was going to say, were you the left hand and you were the right hand typing away? One person gives the other one a sip of wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, I was drinking the wine because you should have read April's first draft. You can't say that, man. Yes, I can't. No, I can't. Yes, I can't. No, I can't. Yes, I can't. No, I can't.
That's awesome, though.
But yeah, Don't Read My Lips, available on Amazon in paperback and hardcover. I said heart. Yuck.
We'll definitely have a link to that in the YouTube description for sure. And I won't edit out the part where I say we'll definitely have that in the YouTube description for sure. We're going to keep this all natural, probably. That's awesome. I mean, like, that's the best way to do it, though. Like, I, too, have written a book. I have copies of it somewhere. I'm not going to get up, though. I worked at a shitty-ass liquor store for 5 years while I was also just touring and stuff. But, like, I'd leave for a month and then, like, just get hours. But there was no line for my job. I'm from Hartford. If you've ever been there, it's fucking scary. So like, yeah, my liquor store was awful, and I would just post these like Facebook statuses like, "Hey, this sucks," and people were like, "You should make these a book." So I get it. I'm not saying that your book is also a compilation of just sad shit, but like, I'm sure like, you know, it's cool to see other comedians and then like people in the realm of comedy finding their spin on it and personalizing it into a book still. And also, I like books.
Like, a lot of humor comes from stuff that sucks. As a matter of fact,
some things are good to write too. Like, also, not to break the interview, can you hear my neighbor's loud ass butt rock that's been playing for about 10 minutes now?
No, can't hear it, but I will say this though. Okay. That a lot of comedy is from stuff that sucks. Yeah. It's like,
no, it's totally fine as long as you're totally whatever.
Yeah, we're cool. So like, and here's the thing:
they also paused it.
If somebody's life is good, they're typically not a good comedian. If somebody is like typically made good decisions, their comedy probably sucks. If somebody's like, oh well, they're a goody goody, their comedy sucks. Like, the better decisions somebody makes, the worse comedian they probably are. So if you make too many good decisions, comedy's probably not your game.
Sure. There's always a tipping point, too. We've all known those comedians that have made way too many bad decisions, and it's become unredeemable to their G.G. Allen open mic performances.
Well, yeah. You know what it is basically, and then there are the folks that get to a certain point that torpedo their careers, or like they make too many bad decisions.
Sam Kinison style.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There was one kid I knew, and he should have been a big star. And this is to give you an idea. And and I'm not going to say his name, and I'm not going to go into specifics.
Brian Barganier. Now look at him. Zoom interviewing people.
No, this kid should have been huge. And he had a big agent coming out of the gate. Big manager, big everything. He made every list there was. Well, anyway, he got a big gig, and he decides during this big gig that he's going to go rogue and try new material. What could possibly go wrong, right?
All of it.
Oh, it did. Because one of his new jokes involved the N-word.
Was he a white person or not?
Yes, he was a white person, and somebody had a cell phone camera, and the story went viral. And I'm not going to say too much.
Oh, I actually not only know who it is now. My friend was like, "Damn it, I just did a show with them recently." Yeah, that's so funny. Talk about Vegas tea, am I right?
Yeah, and here's the thing: we had a mutual person that we were working with, and I was Googling this company or this booker, and the way I found out about it was this show came up. He made the headlines, and I was like, "Holy, sweet Jesus! This is what happened to that guy. This is why we're not hearing from him so much."
Yeah, to put it in my friends' words, more or less, when it happened, they were like, "Damn it, that was one of the bigger names I had opened for, and now I have to take that." But also, I've seen that happen like a million times. Like people you can't even say worked with or opened for, just happened to have done a show with or have shared the stage with that particular night. You get lucky just being around after fucking 15 years or whatever. But and some of those names, I'm not pulling out a casual conversation anymore. Like, yeah, no, no, never can't say it, but that's okay.
Yeah, because I Google it and I'm like, oh my God, I know him. I'm like,
Yeah, see, it's tough to say it, but like we can say this without really saying who it is and stuff. The problem with all of this is not, I mean, it is that this person decided to try a joke with the N-word and they're a white person, and it's like probably not acceptable. I'm pretty sure you didn't find anything clever, like no juice that was worth the squeeze or whatever, but it was a contractually obligated clean show. These are clean shows
Yes.
that people have to do. More or
Yes.
less the type of venue that you have to do is you can't be dirty. I don't do these types of
No,
venues.
no. As a
I
matter
wouldn't
of
want
fact,
to do these types of venues anyways. They seem
yeah. And so when I heard that he was doing this, I was like,
if I say it's
no.
if I make it seem like I'm uninterested, that makes it seem like it's my choice that I don't get booked at these types of places. But if I try, then I'll just get rejected anyways, because they'll be like, hey, what's this joke about diarrhea for that's 7 minutes long? I'll be like, well, that's my opener. I mean, do you want to know the
Well, but
truth
that's
or
the thing
not?
is you also have to know your act.
Sure.
And what I find is that a lot of comedians don't know their act. And
Or they don't know how to, they think that they can take on something that's just changing something. I bring this story up and I sound like old man comedy all the time, but it's like we had to do a clean breakfast show one time, and this comedian I'm doing a set with is literally like, so I was watching a adult film. It's like this joke is still about porn. Like classing up the language does not contextually change that is a graphic joke.
that it's a show about porn. But what really
Correct.
annoys me, and May is going to help me tell this story because it has a happy ending. We were
Right.
doing a show in Long Island, and it was this variety show. And what time was it? 9 o'clock at night. So, we can be as dirty as we want. Well, anyway, this
Acceptable.
12-year-old singing sensation, aka, future dominating Ramsey of America, comes in with her parents, and she is just like she thinks that she is hot stuff. And who's the singer that she wanted to be like me? Connie Francis. I had to Google that myself. So anyway, she comes in and she's dressed in this little poodle skirt. And so everybody's like, she has her whole family here. We have to work clean. And so everybody's watering their stuff down. It's a late show. It's not working. And so May and I talk about it. I said, May, there's a little kid in the front row. We should work clean. And what did you say, May? I said, hell no, I'm going harder than ever. So we get up. And what did you do? I told dick joke, dick joke, dick joke. That was my opener, dick joke. So we just went hard. And this girl and her family get up and they walk out. I mean, we walked them. It was great. The little boy was like covering his ears. The little girl was like crying. And I mean, she was annoying anyway. So, and she
It's
really
the parents'
wasn't.
fault, though, truly.
Yeah,
Like
this was
anyone
the
that
parents'
wants to
fault.
poo-poo you too on that.
And
It's like,
so
no way.
anyway, we get off stage and these comedians, and these are Long Island comedians, they're like, how could you do that? She's a 12-year-old singing sensation. And what did you say, May? A 12-year-old singing sensation that she'll be in bed. It's a school night. Her mother's pimping her out. So the club owner is looking for us. And so I'm like, May, we're going to get banned. And I said, April, not necessarily. I said, May, we're getting banned. So he's looking for us, and all the comics are like, you're going to get banned. You're going to get banned. And so anyway, this 12-year-old singing sensation's parents are like, they deserve to get banned for the way they treated us. So the club owner finds us, brings us into his office and sits us down. And we're ready for the talk. Huh. So anyway, he looks at me, he looks at May, and he goes, listen, he goes, you really went hard with that kid and her family. He goes, I can't stand that little bitch.
Nice.
And so we're like, whoa. And so he said, what you did was brilliant. And as a matter of fact, I have a paid show for you guys.
Right. Yeah, I mean, staying confident, sticking to your guns, not trying to, I'm not trying to make, just keep being like, this reminds me of this and that, but I've been having to do a lot of specialty shows since I moved to the Midwest. This is early on when I first moved here, I had to headline a big political event, which I was surprisingly, I am a very political person. Not in my stand-up, just I'm loud and passionate. But regardless, I was headlining this thing, and some of the comedians, they're immediate. And whether this is a right or wrong strategy for it, it's just not how I gel at all. They were like, how much of my material can I, make that's sort of like about this? And well, that's like kind of like good too to like have some recyclable shit. It's like, why not just sit down and write things? Like realistically, we had to roast Republicans. It's the easiest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. It's this. I was just reading their policies and people were laughing. I was like,
Oh
and then
yeah,
they
yeah.
want to say you can't ever have an abortion. And then they're like, where does he get this stuff? I'm like, that's just what they're doing. I mean, I'm in Nebraska for fuck's sake. It's pretty politically skewed,
Oh
I
yeah,
would say.
absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, because it's like absolutely. It's and so the
Like
funniest thing though
Omaha,
was
they're pretty
after we got
open-minded.
out
They're
of
into
there.
puppet stuff.
Oh yes, they're into
But,
puppetry. Sounds like
once you get
that.
outside the liberal city of Omaha, they're like, unless my wife is a puppet, I'm not doing it. You have to get
Hey,
married
you never
first.
know. His wife might be a puppet. Why do you think she lays there and takes it so much?
That's true. That's true. Some people just need to settle down. That's just more their speed.
Yeah. Wow, what can I say? I'm all about no strings attached. Right. Yeah. And so, but the best part was when we got out of there after getting the booking,
Mm,
everybody was like, "Did you get banned?" And what'd you tell them? Absolutely, he banned us. That was
that's
really awesome.
ridiculous. I mean that is pretty much full circle. As soon as you don't do them good anymore, you are no longer worth the drink tickets you were given
Yeah, and so
in
we lied.
comedy.
We said that they banned us, and yeah, but we got a paid
Yeah.
booking, so
Yeah.
yeah. But it was
Yeah, I
just
always say this isn't a joke. This is more of a thing I cry into my pillow late at night. Show business. It's always yes. You hear yeses out loud, but they'll never just tell you no. They just stop talking to you.
or they'll stop returning your calls.
Exactly.
So like
Like
hey girl,
there's not just like a hey. You got
well
two
there's no
bad
hey,
comment
but hey.
cards when you said you'd rather kill yourself than sing happy birthday to that table during the announcement. So, maybe you should chill the fuck out sometimes. And you're like, you know what? This is my art.
Absolutely. And speaking of art, I gotta go meet my sugar daddy, May Wilson. But
Hey,
like
Wilson, everyone, let her hear it.
every once in a while, But I actually did do some political stuff, and
Nice.
because I fancy myself a political activist. I've done political
Good.
shows, and I can tell you that sometimes, like especially in the last several years at comedy shows, there have been times where people have gone apeshit and crazy in my shows. I have a
It's been
puppet.
such a polarizing time, and I don't want to be like it's Trump's fault, but like whether you're on his side or not, it's become such a polarizing political time. I mean, my wife worked a ton in 2016 on Bernie's campaign and stuff, and like I don't know, she's an artist and shit. She's like part of the ad department and stuff too. But like that whole like ever since then, I feel like that's where you really see like you hear stories like that, and like not like that people wouldn't go nuts at comedy shows if you said something fucked up about Reagan or whatever, but like now you see like a viral video every day. You're just like Trump's dumb, and then just like a bottle gets whipped at someone's head, and you're like, why is any of this okay? And why were you already filming?
Yeah, well, here's the worst part. It's like, you have everybody's really divided. On one side, you have the super duper right that's so racist and so homophobic and so misogynistic. I can't even say that freaking word. That they are all everything's funny, nothing's off limits until you disagree with them and make a joke
Well,
about
no,
them. Then all of a sudden,
the funny thing isn't actually anything funny. It's the fact that it would trigger someone as liberal as you, or that it hurts your feelings just
yeah.
even
And so
hearing
they're the
it
ones
is
calling everybody
funny.
snowflakes, but they're
Right.
more snowflakey than anybody.
It's
But then on the
cringe.
but then on the left, like they want to cancel movies like Airplane because Airplane offends them. And I'm just like, oh my God. Everybody's just got to calm down, go outside, run a bunch of laps, and just laugh.
I saw that they were trying to cancel the movie, but I didn't read about it because, like, they've been trying to ban Blazing Saddles since they made it, even though it's a funny movie. But
Yeah, it's satire.
why are they saying they want to ban Airplane now? I haven't seen it long enough.
They want to ban something every week. But
Yeah.
anyway, I have Donald J. Trump here. He wants to talk about his campaign.
Oh God. Yes.
Hello. Donald J. Trump. Anyway, Mr. Trump, Why should this young man vote for you in
Yeah.
2024? Well, because I'm huge and I'm master of everything. I have billions of dollars. Oh, April. And the Better Business Bureau gave me a triple A rating. Wait, the Better Business Bureau gave you a triple A rating? Wrong. A triple K rating. KKK. So, Mr. Tramp, are you a racist? Fake news. I'm not a racist. I hate to run. So you support black people? Duh, because orange is new black. Holla. Okay. Mr. Tramp. Now, how do you like? What about Mexico paying for the wall? That didn't happen when you were president. Well, April, I wasn't a politician when I ran, but now I am. Look at how good I did my job. Okay, Mr. Tramp. But you promised to build the wall. What's your plan to make that happen? Well, Mexico is going to pay for the wall. All I have to do is go to the Western Union, pick up the money order. What could possibly go wrong? So, Mr. Tramp,
We
are
like the same hair.
Are you pro-life? Yes, I'm pro-life. So you are pro-life. I say, throw the baby over the cliff. Let God decide. So, but you support. So, do you
How do you feel about Lindsey
rights?
Graham?
What about Lindsey Graham? I don't know her. Okay, Mr. Graham, Lindsey Graham, your friend. I don't know her. Lindsey Graham, your friend. Oh, Lindsey Graham. Once again, I don't know her.
Super. That's like literally what he would say too. That's so ridiculous. I love that. Mr. Tramp. I have to say, I never thought these words would ever escape my mouth, but it's been a real pleasure meeting you. And
Thank
you look
you.
a lot more like
you.
Boris Johnson than I ever thought you did in real life. But hey, I mean, you're kind of similar, anyways.
Listen, Boris Johnson looks like me.
Oh God, that is what he would say.
Donald J. Trump. Don't vote for him in 2024.
That is what he would say. Very
well,
tuned
actually,
in.
the funny thing is,
How did that puppet not get beat up? Or like,
oh, he did. He did get beaten up. He would
really?
get punched at shows. People came up on stage, and it became a thing where people would punch him, and I would let them punch him. And this one,
you should charge them $1.
Well, actually, there was one chick. She was Black Lives Matter, and she punched him, and she took the photo. And I think she didn't mean to hit my hand as hard as she did.
But I didn't know you were still wearing it. Sorry.
Yeah, and Mr. Tramp, tell him about what happened. So, this girl from Black Lives Matter sees me and goes, "Can I punch him?" And I said, "Sure, baby, and you can pee on me too." And Mr. Tramp, I told you couldn't talk to women like that. I realized he didn't speak Russian. I said, "Never mind." So anyway, somebody takes a picture, and I don't think she meant to hit him as hard as she did. And I said, "Ow, do it again. That feels great." And I said, "Mr. Tramp, my hand hurts." I said, "I'm turned on." And so anyway, there was some cognitive dissonance there. But let's see, there was that. And then true story, we were actually with a group called Stand Together Against Trump because he was built to satirize Trump. And Stat was protesting Trump in Cleveland. And so I got to combine my comedy, my activism. I was like living the life of Riley. And once again, you can read all about it and don't read my lips.
Yes.
Don't read her lips. Depends on what you said. Okay, Mr. Tramp. Well, anyway, long story short, this guy with a handlebar mustache and a cowboy hat and a sidearm comes up. And I mean, he has the Lee Harvey Oswald look in his eyes. And he says to me, he goes, "Do you hate Trump?"
Holy.
And I said, and I had my talking points, and I said, "I don't hate Trump. I just hate what he stands for." And he said, "I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to him." And so start arguing back and forth. My manager, Clinton Ford Billups Jr., he's a former cop, is feet away. And Clinton is like trying to get a state trooper. And meanwhile, they're seeing that he's arguing with the puppet, and they're both trying not to laugh. And at the end of this dude goes, "Fine, if that's the way you want it." And he stomps off into the sunset.
I mean, what more of a perfect metaphor could you can't even write anything better than that. That's fucking amazing.
No, you can't make this stuff up.
No. Shit, I fucking love it. Gosh, I wish we could do like several more hours of this. Unfortunately, I have to go live stream at a McDonald's in a few minutes, so I'm very
McDonald's, tell them.
I know. We did it just for you, bud. We were thinking what could get some more Nebraskan fan base people involved, and we're like, what if we were just eating McDoubles while we talked about politics?
Listen, all night fans eat McDonald's. And actually, one quick story, and I'm gonna put them to bed.
Absolutely.
Cramp and I were getting ready to perform at the public square in Cleveland with Stat. And so we're getting some sustenance at, I want to say, Bob Evans. That's it. And Bikers for Trump come in. I got my Stat shirt on. They got their sidearms. They're all like 500 pounds each. Okay. So they waddle in, and I have my, snowflake shirt on. And I put a sweatshirt over it because I don't want to get into it at a Bob Evans. So anyway, the waitress comes over, and her name's Judy, and she's got this big smile. You know that she's a single mother, and her kid probably is the one that has behavioral problems at school that will probably become a comedian someday. But anyway, she comes over to Bikers for Trump, and she's like, what can I get for you guys? And they go, we want grits. And she goes, it's 11 o'clock. We don't serve grits. What do you mean we don't serve grits? And so they're fighting with her. And so the head of Bikers for Trump, meanwhile, is on the phone, and he's like,
over grits.
We need an XXXXL. Because the XXXL doesn't fit. What do you mean you don't have an XXXXL? And he's like, and so they're going back and forth. And so I'm with my personal manager, Clinton Ford Billups Jr., and we're trying not to laugh. So anyway, we're leaving, and one of the Bikers for Trump says, man, I don't like that blonde snowflake's politics, but she's hot. So folks, I'm making America grits again.
There you go. I love that. That's hilarious. Oh my God. I'm so glad we got a chance to hang out and meet. This was fun as fuck. And I got to meet the whole squad, I feel like. This was fucking rad. So the book, you still do the show. What else can we plug? What can people find you? What else do you want in this YouTube description? What are the plugs?
And April in Vegas. Tell them to subscribe to my channel, my TikTok, my Insta, everywhere.
And it's aprilbrucker.tv is the website.
Aprilbrucker.tv.
Hell yeah.
Watch me on TV.
Yeah, fuck yeah. This was rad. We're going to have to do another one. We're going to have to do a follow-up. I'm sure this is going to get fucking mad views. I appreciate this so much. This was super rad. But yeah, I'm going to have all that in there. And fuck yeah. Go to all of April's shit. Go watch her on all these TV shows. My Strange Addiction. I mean, I'm going to watch that probably as soon as we stop doing this. I wasn't kidding about live streaming out of McDonald's, but I think that's going to be some TV programming while I give the wife the Tootsie Rub later or something. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah. Have fun at McDonald's, man, okay?
Fuck yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.